Welcome to episode 22 of the Luxury Travel Marketer. I'm your host David, co-owner and co-founder of Jadewolf Marketing. And I first want to wish all our listeners a happy new year 2020. Again, thanks so much for staying with us through our first year in 2019. The podcast has grown significantly in terms of listeners, in terms of average playtime, and we have listeners from all over the world. The majority being from the US, so thank you guys. I appreciate it a lot, and I hope you will stay with us in the future. I mentioned already in the last podcast in December, shortly before Christmas, that we have big plans. Our agency is evolving, signing on new clients, we're doing a lot of cool things. The podcast is going to evolve as well, which means that we're going to try to have interesting guests on and not just me and, Luba narrating things, direct marketing topics to you guys, but instead, we're going to try to get some other perspectives on. We're working on a list of guest appearances right now because obviously we want to have people on who just not only want to self-promote, but also want to deliver value, and that's harder than it sounds. But we're working on it, and you can expect, us probably to have some first guest appearances in Q2, Q3 this year. But until then, we're going to have cool topics. So let's jump right into today's topic about CRO. If you want to stay tuned with our podcast, make sure to subscribe, obviously, on Spotify, Google, iTunes, everywhere where we are. Visit our website, jadewolfmarketing.com, on a regular basis. We have a blog now that we upload articles. So if you like to read, that's definitely something for you as well. We have a cool newsletter, which we send out monthly, which is not just self-promotion, but we collect all the blog posts, all the podcasts. We have a book recommendation section, a software recommendation section. And if you're a marketer in the luxury travel industry, working in yachting, aviation, hospitality, whatever it might be, I think our website is slowly but steadily becoming a great resource for people to educate themselves and, obviously get informed about our services and if we are the right agency for them as well. But, it's a great resource in general. So today's topic, again, CRO. What is CRO? It's an acronym. It's a marketing acronym that has become popular in the last, I would say, 2-3 years. It stands for conversion rate optimization, right? I'm not going to try to explain what a conversion is in the context of digital marketing because this is episode 21 of the Luxury Travel Marketer podcast. And if you want to know more about digital marketing funnels, the direct marketing approach, growth hacking, growth marketing, whatever you might call it, go back all the way to the beginning to episode 2 and then maybe episode 7 and listen to those and check out our blog, obviously, and learn a little bit about what the methodology is about. Conversion rate optimization is, as the name already says, all about increasing your existing conversions, right? It's optimizing the rate that visitors on your website convert when they interact with your content, with your media, with your forms, whatever it might be. So to make a clear distinction, I want to quickly mention that a CRO is not the same as UX, UI. UX being user experience design, UI being user interface design. Those disciplines are related, obviously, but UX, UI is more important if you're coming from a product development or design standpoint than from an actual marketer standpoint. A lot of good designers, great designers, also have a solid foundation when it comes to digital marketing and marketing aspects in terms of design. So they're employing CRO principles as well, and some of the CRO principles obviously come from the UX UI world. So it's a little bit of like a mutual beneficial relationship of where the disciplines are evolving, but it's not exactly the same. CRO focuses is heavily weighted towards the marketing aspect, sales aspect of things. Just to get that out of the way. All our designers out there, I love you guys. Without you, marketers would be nothing. Without the art, marketing doesn't work. So I appreciate you, and keep doing what you're doing. Like, we're all learning from the great things that come up in design all the time. But to get back to CRO, why do you need it? Well, conversion rate optimization has become increasingly important because digital marketing has become more mature, right? And it doesn't really matter if you're trying to do like large-scale brand marketing online, or if you're trying to build funnels and life cycles like we do at Jadewolf Marketing for luxury travel clients. In any case, you're probably generating traffic, right? You probably reached a stage where you have some traffic to your website. You might need more traffic, but you have some kind of traffic. And, without good traffic, no marketing online will ever work. And that's where CRO really comes into play. Now, once the traffic arrives on your website and you have your website laid out, or your mobile website, whatever it might be, what happens with it, right? What does the user do? He browses around on the website, he's confused, and he doesn't know what to find, he doesn't know how to contact you. He's either convinced or not convinced, by your design and by your whole communication, and by your services, by your offering. In luxury especially, that's very important. Do you come off as luxurious? Do you come off as high end? Or do you just come off as premium, or maybe like a discounter who's trying to fake it a little bit? And that's where CRO plays into as well. So it can make the difference between your website producing an ROI and your digital marketing producing an ROI that is significant, that is sustainable, and really helps your business and helps it grow and scale beyond anything you thought possible, or you just paying a lot of money for traffic or investing a lot of time into generating organic traffic for your website, and the whole thing goes nowhere because the people are just confused and nobody converts on your website. You might be in a situation as well where you have a little bit of conversions, but you would like to increase the conversions, and that's where CRO is also important. There are certain things you can tweak, certain things you can change in your design, in your structure of your website. That's going to make it all better. So this should pretty much explain why do you need CRO. You just need it. It's just, if you're doing any kind of online web design for marketing, for sales, you just need it. When do you need it? You can employ CRO principles right from the beginning if you're sophisticated enough, and if you have a good designer, you have a marketer, you are a marketer yourself, or you have somebody like us as Jadewolf Marketing who can support you when it comes to CRO principles for your website design. You can use it from the beginning to just create something that right off the bat will have a high likelihood of converting well, will have a high likelihood of having a good conversion rate. But if you've been in a couple of years in the business, you obviously have a more mature business, you maybe went for different iterations of your website, then using CRO principles post and stacking them onto your existing website and changing things and maybe redesigning certain parts without rewriting the whole brand identity of your website is also something you can do, right? You might have a complete website relaunch coming up, and then you want to base it all on CRO. That makes sense as well. Some people, by the way, I think confuse CRO a little bit, with conversion rate optimization, with general performance marketing tactics on different channels like search marketing or paid social and stuff. That's, in my opinion, is kind of not true, because conversion rate optimization really talks about what happens with the traffic once you've got it, and not really how to generate more traffic, cheaper traffic, more effective traffic, and all that stuff. So when do you need it? Well, the optimal scenario, in my opinion, is when you have a lot of traffic coming in, be it organic or paid, through media buys, through mainstream channels, whatever it might be. In luxury, hopefully you're more focusing on really targeted channels, luxury niche media, luxury direct media buys, instead of just relying completely on search and social media, because as we all know, that tends to be not converting that well when it comes to luxury. But if you have a lot of traffic, obviously that's the ideal scenario you're in, because if the traffic is targeted and you're getting somewhat of an amount of conversions, maybe you're converting at 10%, but you overall want to get up your conversion rate, and be it for leads, be it for direct bookings, whatever it might be, up to 20-25%. Now there's a limit to that, to how high you can raise your conversion rate in general for certain business models, in my opinion. Like if you're buying jets, refurbishing and flipping them, if you are a marketplace for super yachts, if you are a custom super yacht manufacturing company, then obviously having a conversion rate of 40% is absolutely unrealistic. In my opinion, even if you reach numbers like that, the leads that you generate will probably not at all convert at that level, right? So you gotta it's luxury still. You're filtering out people. It's all about finding the right people with the right affluence and with the right income. So you have to keep that in mind when you're trying to benchmark your efforts. Okay, how successful am I? How high can I get my conversion rate overall for my website? But if you have a lot of traffic, there's a lot of cool things you can do. And, this episode is a little bit to give you, is intended to give you an introduction to CRO, not to give you like a step-by-step how-to guide with every detail explained. Again, this podcast is not intended to be just a marketing book that is spread out over multiple episodes. It is intended partially to showcase our opinions at Jadewolf Marketing, our expertise, the things we focus on, together with our team, with freelancers, with clients, and just to give you a little bit of an introduction to different things which are important to the style of marketing that we do, right? But I hope you can still learn something from the episodes, and that's why I usually also give some actual tactics, not just an overall strategy picture here. So how do you do it? Well, the short version is you need to do A/B testing. A/B testing, I explained it in another podcast, I think, before when I talked about attribution modeling and digital marketing funnels in general. It's a concept where you're pretty much thinking like a scientist, but you're doing marketing, right, and design. So you're looking at something and you're making a hypothesis, which is like, okay, if I change factor X, will I get a result, and will the result be better what was before? Yes or no? So it's a very empirical kind of like way of approaching your marketing. You're getting 1,000 visitors on your homepage, for example. You change one element of those 1,000 people, all of a sudden will 10% more convert than before. And if yes, then the experiment is a success and you keep the new version, right? And it's about, obviously having this controlled testing approach to everything you do. And which means you have to really be a little bit analytical and be able to break things down. So that whole mindset and how you plan it out and how you do A/B testing on a big website or on a larger funnel, or of how you do multivariant testing and testing multiple things at the same time, and how much weight you should give to different versions of everything. How much traffic should I funnel into that model A, into model B, etc. That's not the main core of this episode, because again, that's more about methodology and more about intricate kind of like analytical models that you can use, which maybe we're going to talk about in another episode if I feel like it. But today, I'm just going to give you the basic areas of application, right? If you have that A/B testing, empirical scientific methodology, you're trying to do CRO on your website, on whatever you have online, those are some of the different areas that you can look at for conducting tests and experiments. The first area, the biggest area, most important area for luxury travel, doesn't matter if you do a yacht charter or a travel agency, whatever you might do if you're a hotel, is obviously the website design, right? First thing you should think about, okay, what do I want to have above the fold? Above the fold is when somebody loads your website in a browser window or loads it in his phone browser, what's gonna be the first thing that pops into his vision, right? Is it gonna be a headline? Is it gonna be a button? Is it gonna be a big image? Is it gonna be a video that loads maybe slowly? Is gonna some music play? Is the menu gonna be visible? All that stuff. Next thing, the menus. How do you structure them? Large menus with a lot of sub-items can be difficult to navigate and confusing. Do you want to keep your menu simple? Is it a pop-up menu? Is it always there so people can have easy access to it? Does it scroll with you? Does it have the important items that people would look for? Have you checked what customers are looking for on your website? Have you talked with clients, for example, if you're a travel agent, a little bit after you close them? Okay, how did you find our website? Have you conducted surveys to your email marketing list with an incentive, so the wealthy people who have very little time to do surveys have a reason to give you some feedback on how it is to work with you? Are you conducting some customer success management kind of things? Those are all things that you can do to figure out if your menu structure, if your menu style is good. Headlines all throughout the website. Are the headlines descriptive? Are they readable? How are the fonts? Are the fonts good? Do they fit your brand? This is more again like a design thing, but there's also a certain element of readability to it. And if the headlines do have strong call to actions, and that they're directing people to the right paragraphs of copy that you want them to read. Buttons, size, shape, the general CTA of the button. How many buttons do you want to have? Do the buttons just take people to other elements on the website, or do they take them to a complete new page? Does it load in a new tab? Is the experience that if somebody clicks on the button, will he be taken somewhere which is completely going to turn him off? Or is it going to stay congruent with the whole luxury branding of the website? different things, like as you can see, it's all about the details here. White space. How much white space do you employ? What style of scrolling do you have? Smooth, fast scrolling? Do you use white space to direct attention, or do you use white space for, aesthetical reasons? This is really important as well. Copywriting, how do you edit and structure your paragraphs? Do you have like short copy or long form copy? Do you use like long, intricate, detailed, written out stories? Or do you use short, technical kind of like pieces of copy? Graphics, do you have tables, visualizations, icons? You should have some if you are running a service business, just to give people a little bit of an insight what your process looks like, what kind of iconography do you use, your icons. Rich media, if you have video, if you have audio, if you have build picture galleries, if you have interactive elements, 3D stuff, for example, interior of like a yacht or something that you just acquired and you want to sell. How do you employ that? Is it like from a conversion rate optimization perspective useful where it's at? Should you put it somewhere else? Should you emphasize it more? Forms, really important. Longer form fields tend to have lower conversion rates but give you more qualified leads. Shorter forms convert better but can yield a lot of trash if you don't watch out. Where do you place your forms? How do you label them? What do you ask? How many fields do you have? All that stuff is very important. Footer, often overlooked. What do you have in your website footer? It's like best practice to have some useful links like FAQs and about us and career and stuff in the footer. That can be a good idea, but not maybe on all pages. Maybe you don't want to have a footer on your landing pages. Or maybe if you want to have a footer, maybe you just want to have your privacy policy there. A lot of things, that are really important as well. And that is just web design. As you can see already, you can A/B test until you pretty much turn to dust. Just when you're talking about website design, so you need to have a model, a structured way of going about it, what you're going to test first and what you're going to work on. Other areas of application for conversion rate optimization are obviously ad copy, right? An ad usually consists of a headline, some body copy, an image, or maybe a carousel gallery, a short video clip, an audio clip, a link that it redirects to, how the link is written, how the URL is written. There's a lot of things you can just A/B test when it comes to ads. Same goes for landing pages. Landing pages being minimalized versions of homepage websites where you just have one certain objective, be it like to direct the person into your funnel, or to get an opt-in, to get a lead, to generate a direct booking, to sell a specific service or high-end package, to communicate something specific about your brand. You can use landing pages and, as an extension of it, mini websites, right? Multiple landing pages connected for different ways, for different reasons. It really depends what you want to sell. Then obviously email templates. How do you design the template? How do you break down the structure? Same thing goes. You should look at email templates, especially, if it's for your marketing automation, for your transactional emails, for your sales emails, in terms of like CRO as well. Like, how do you structure them? Do you apply the same best practices that you use in your website to your emails as well? If not, then, give us a call. Like, we can help you with that if you're a luxury business, because I've seen terrible email marketing when it comes to luxury. Where you obviously saw that the people didn't pay any attention to how their emails are perceived and if people get the right amount of information. So don't be one of those businesses, just pay some attention to the details. It's luxury after all. Then obviously applications, if you have mobile applications or if you have, custom accounts like on WeChat, Weixin, or like on other messenger apps like company accounts, and where you can set up your own menus and stuff, is there some methodology that is related to CRO behind that as well? Do you offer the right things at the right time, the right information, the right options to opt in, to convert? Those are all important things. And last but not least, obviously, the checkouts, right? The checkouts are an area that usually is associated more with e-commerce, but if you're receiving bookings, direct bookings for luxury villa rentals, for for hotel rooms, for appointments, if that. And we're pretty much where people have to leave a lot of information and maybe even payment information, you should really be careful that it's congruent with your brand, it follows CRO principles, There's trust indicators there, certain icons of payment methods. There's a lot of things that go into a well-designed checkout. That's, for example, why big hospitality groups like Marriott, for example, have this unified kind of like Marriott Systems backend approach, where all their checkouts for different kind of like sub-brands that they have and different kind of properties that are connected to the Marriott realm all go through the Marriott backend, so they can do controlling, so they can do, like have a unified kind of like branding policy there as well, which has downsides again as well, because it allows individual resorts, unique brands that they have in their portfolio, it kind of like confines them to stick to like this whole Marriott set of rules, which can be difficult. But that's just an example of somebody really wanting to keep their checkout in line and make sure that everything is on point, which is understandable. Yeah, so those pretty much were the basics in terms of CRO. Just to go through it again: above the fold, menus, headlines, buttons, white space, copywriting, graphics, rich media, forms, the footer, and obviously what are you doing with your ads, your landing pages, mini website, your email templates. Do you have apps, mobile apps, checkouts? Is everything, in general, is everything looking good on mobile? CRO doesn't stop just in desktop browsing experiences, but also obviously goes into mobile browsing experiences as well. Does everything load well? If you have pop-ups, layovers, are like they non-annoying, and all that stuff. So yeah, that was the first episode in the new year. Please stay true to us. Make sure that if you're a luxury business that is mature enough that you want to work with an agency like us, that you contact us. We just released not long ago a blog post about what is involved in hiring and working with a luxury marketing agency like us. And if you're not sure, like, okay, can I afford this? Is my business ready? Should I do things myself still, or should I like get external help? Check out that blog post. It's on jadewolfmarketing.com/blog, and /category/blog. I'm not really sure. Just go to jadewolfmarketing.com and click on blog in the menu, then you can go to it. And yeah, just read the article, figure it out for yourself. We would be happy to help you. You can contact us via the messenger bot on our website or contact form. You can request a strategy quote if you kind of like already sure that you need help and you really like us, for example, because you listen to our podcast for a while. You can contact us on social media. We're very, very active on LinkedIn with a company page that is constantly growing, with a group that is growing, and you can just look us up. Our profiles are linked on our homepage as well to LinkedIn. Yeah, and that's it for this week. Next week's episode is going to be about what I would call, it's a 10 rules episode again, 10 rules of successful email marketing for luxury, right? I'm just going to talk about some general best practices, be it for transactional emails, for, kind of like sponsored mailings, like advertising in the form of email, or, marketing automation sequences that you're using to generate upsells, cross-sells, to flesh out your brand, whatever it might be. Make sure to tune in. I wish you a successful start into 2020, and take care.